All right, everybody. Welcome to our live high voltage discussion all about DC FanDome. That's DC Comics virtual convention that just happened. Starting at 10 a.m. yesterday, it ended this morning at 10 a.m. It was a 24-hour con. And here with me today, we've got Kristen and Peter and Tiffany. And we're going to talk about how it went. So what did you guys think?
It was a lot. It was a lot, and it wasn't. I don't know if anyone feels the same. It was a TV show. I think we talked about this, Chelsea. It was just kind of like from this time to this time, let's just keep watching it through and see if something hits, you watch it, and then if not, then maybe you can walk away for a bit, and then you come back to it, and then hope something else comes on that you're interested in.
That's exactly how I felt about it as well. Like, it was a TV show. It had some filler little breaks. It had its main action parts, and you watched it or you walked away.
For me, personally, I got really disappointed straight out the gate. So, I had the screen open for DCFanDome.com like 45 minutes before 10 a.m. And I was like, really? We're not going to be able to get in early? There's supposed to be like 5 or 6 rooms. How am I going to get to my room and not miss any of this Wonder Woman panel? Rooms. And then the countdown ended, and it was like, enter DC FanDome. I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's rush. And it felt kind of like a convention. And then it was just one screen with a live video, and there was no other links or instructions or announcements or anything. And after like 10 minutes, I was on the phone with Kristen, and we were both like, what? I don't understand. Did we miss a button? Like, what's happening? I tweeted and was like, where is the watch verse? Where's the kids verse? Where's the you verse? Where are all of the things? And luckily somebody tweeted me back and said, oh, they canceled it all. And I was like, where was the announcement on the screen? You know? And apparently earlier that morning at some point, they made some press call that they didn't have the technology for all of the other rooms, if you will, to be mobile friendly. So they decided to postpone all of that content until September 12th. And we only had the Hall of Heroes yesterday.
They decided yesterday.
Yeah. Which Hall of Heroes was like the big, here's all of the star power. So like what's supposed to get us excited about the 12th? I mean, there's plenty of things I'm excited about, but I'm just very confused by this decision.
I felt the first hour, I was so upset. I don't think I got much out of what was happening because I was so looking forward to some of these other things that were going on in other spaces. And I didn't get the email telling me what was going on until about noon. So if it weren't for you, Chelsea, I wouldn't have known anything. I would have spent until noon trying to click around, figuring out what was going on.
Yeah, well, thank goodness for those few people on Twitter that got back to me, because we both would have been going, I don't understand. What am I missing?
Yeah.
And the other thing was, and this is something that Disney is classically known for, is their merch store immediately got overwhelmed and broke. And I could not get into the merch store for like 2 hours. How did you not expect the entire nerd world to be logging in for your 24-hour convention and wanting to, like, especially now that you've canceled all of the other places?
Yeah.
How did you not see that coming to have servers prepared? I don't understand.
There should have been like a lottery system of like how, like a time spot that you could get in or something, because all at once, there's just too many people in the world that are excited about that type of merchandise right now, when everyone is at home and like not being able to see what they expected to see.
It's really funny because of as much as we griped about San Diego Con stuff, it seemed like that was more of a convention than this was meant to be.
Yeah.
So, because I still felt some sort of convention vibe, you know, not to mention the fact that it was a little longer, but that has nothing to do with this situation. But even the shopping, the exhibits and all the stuff, it seemed convention-esque in the virtual setting. This was just like a link. And Chelsea, I'm with you that one page with a little, you know, the screen, and you watch like, hey, this is the stuff. And then we have a Twitter, and here's our store.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Yay! Everyone excited?
Yeah. But I actually don't agree that Comic-Con did it better though, because while this ended up being one live screen of just here's all the star power, the panel and kept my interest for the most part. I mean, there was things I don't care about in the first place that was never gonna keep my interest. But
Sure.
the way that they did, they played a game of werewolf. There was Zachary Levi's Shazam panel, for example, was 7 minutes long or something. And it was the most entertaining 7 minutes of my life, you know? And at the same point, some of these panels were not longer than 25 to 30 minutes, whereas Comic-Con, you had hundreds of panels being dropped on YouTube constantly that felt like they should have been a lot shorter.
Right. My gripe definitely wasn't in the content. I guess it was the packaging, because you're absolutely right. The panels were fun. I saw the Flash panel. That was fun. Looking at hey, look, we're going to show you, this is the suit. And I did feel like there were special things that weren't talked about in Comic-Con. So that's really exciting. I felt that there was exclusive stuff coming out that was specific to DC. So yeah, absolutely. The content seemed a little more high quality. It's just the packaging was a little underwhelming. So I guess I need to make that difference known.
I feel like I agree with both of you. It wasn't the convention experience that I'm used to, but I actually think DC capitalized on the virtual space way better. And it's a new type of convention, and they were sort of showing us the way and how it could be done in this new space with different ideas and not just panel madness. So I think they did a really good job. I would have liked to have seen everything happening at once. I think that would have felt the best to me, the best happy medium, because it wouldn't have just been sitting there watching a TV program all day. Bounce around and run here and run there. So I think if they could have done that, the whole package would have felt like the convention experience I wanted. So I'm curious how that would have worked. But I think they did a really good job capitalizing the virtual kind of.
Yes. And honestly, I'm with you, because I feel like if they had actually done what they wanted to do, it probably would have been the best package and semblance of a convention we could have had, because it looked great. It was super polished. There was no seamlessness. There was no connection between the Comic-Con panels. There was no connection through the store. There was no similar branding. I was all of the panels wove together, different hosts there and stuff. But something that Kristen and I talked about was this nonstop TV show that looked great, left no breathable moments for 8 hours. And I was I have to go to the restroom, but I don't want to miss anything. I need to go make food. What do I do? There was could we have had a moment where it was we'll be back in 5 minutes?
Maybe they'll figure that out for this next day. Kind of take everyone's critiques and try to figure out how to do everything a little bit better.
I think they tried. Anytime those claymation Batman Joker things came on, I'm oh, time to run.
Yeah, I figured that out after a few hours. I was oh, here we go.
On your mark, get set, go.
Yeah, but then it was always literally 30 seconds before I was already missing something else, where I was just I'm not that quick, in terms of September 12th, the content that they put off was not content that was supposed to be scheduled at specific times. So it was just supposed to be a bunch of things that were available the entire 24 hours. So there's more time to breathe because you can do anything at any point. But I'm curious, since now we have a couple weeks, if they'll try to build a couple more big name panels or reveal some more juicy information.
I like juicy stuff.
Well,
give it to me.
Well, then, speaking of juicy, let's get into it. The day started off with a Wonder Woman 1984 panel. Let's talk about Wonder Woman. So, obviously, I think everyone here agrees that Wonder Woman is the best film in the DC EU.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I'm with you.
Patty Jenkins, you did an amazing job. I would really love to see Patty direct other films outside of Wonder Woman to maybe bring some connection into the DCEU. But one thing that Patty said during the panel was that Wonder Woman 1984 was made for theaters and it will be coming out in theaters. Now,
That's I did notice that, and that was kind of like, oh, that's a little. You're expecting a lot. I'm with you. I want to see it in theaters, but
yes, and you know, it hit me that it should have already come out by now, and I'd forgotten about that. You know, but you know what? Mulan said the same thing. Yeah. Mulan's not coming out in theaters now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope that they can figure it out so it can, but like, I'm so ready to see it.
Drive-ins.
Especially, the drive-ins.
Let's use the drive-ins. People are doing it now. Let's come back to the drive-ins.
Totally. I'm down.
Part of me is a little like scared because like drive-ins, you do lose like that beautiful detail in the coloring, but I still would be happy going to the drive-in and seeing that there. Like,
I think it also depends on what drive-in you go to, because I went to a drive-in recently at the Rose Bowl that was spotless. Like, it was crystal clear technology. Like, they really figured it out. And like, you go to some of these older ones that have been there since the 50s, and everything's being projected onto wood, and you're gonna lose the clarity. I was like, but some of the pop-ups, like, if they could bring that back, if they keep the Rose Bowl setting, that would have been perfect for Wonder Woman. Also, my car has a better sound system than my home theater, so, you know, I'm down for it.
That's very true about a lot of us, I think. Like, our cars have great sound.
Yep. So the other thing we got in this panel was a new trailer for Wonder Woman 1984.
I started crying. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God.
I don't know if this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but so they're introducing Cheetah as the villain, which is big because that's like an arch nemesis for Wonder Woman. A lot of people know this. Kristen Wiig?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
Kristen
too.
Wiig? I don't know.
I didn't realize that she was going to be Cheetah, and I was like,
Look. This is what I said with like Joker with Dark Knight. I was like, oh, I don't know if he can pull off the Joker. Why is his name escaping me? This is so bad. Help me, please. Joker. Heath Ledger. Oh my God.
I was like, you can't possibly be forgetting Heath Ledger. I was so sure
I know, and I love him. I love him. A Knight's Tale is like one of my top movies. I know Heath Ledger, but like when I was like, Heath Ledger is Joker, I don't know. And then he had this
blew it out of the water.
And he blew it out, and he's like the standard now for a lot of the new Joker stuff. But I will not judge yet, but it's definitely my first reaction. I'm like,
I had the same reaction.
Yeah, so
like she's in all the comedy stuff, and I'm not a huge fan of her stuff in the comedy either.
Right. I don't think any of us are. I'm not a Kristen Wiig fan either.
I loved her in SNL. I thought she was brilliant in SNL.
She annoyed me in SNL.
Surprise us, Tristan. Surprise us.
Please,
I am ready. Like,
I will go with an open mind, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Cheetah is huge.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
The other thing that I took away from this panel was they surprised the few cast members that were there with Linda Carter. Linda Carter still looks incredible, guys. She could play Wonder Woman now.
Oh my God. She's so beautiful.
That blew my mind. I was just like, you found the fountain of youth or something. Like, what? Wow.
Tell us your secrets.
Right? Or maybe she actually is Wonder Woman. Like, it wasn't a casting back in the day.
That was real life.
She's an immortal.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, yeah, that was a bit about the Wonder Woman panel. I just want to say to those of you watching, first of all, thank you. There are quite a few of you watching. Feel free to chat with us in the chat room. The chat room is open. If you saw the Wonder Woman panel, if you have thoughts on Kristen Wiig, stuff like that, chat with us. We want to know. We see you. We'll talk to you. Fantastic. My favorite panel, actually, of the day was a surprise, and I was looking forward to the panel, but it gave me more than I expected. And this was the Sandman universe discussion with Neil Gaiman. And I know Kristen will get excited about this because she loves Neil as well. But so they put out a new Sandman Audible that this was during quarantine that it came out, like in the last couple of months. And I've already been curious to check it out. I haven't yet, but Taryn Edgerton is one of the voices. He plays John Constantine. So I was like, oh, Taryn's in it. I'm there, you know. but the way they described how this radio drama got put together, basically, and the director, Dirk Maggs, has been creating radio dramas since the 80s and has won so many awards for it. I got super excited to listen to this.
I'm currently listening to a Neil Gaiman book, Neverwhere, and he's the one who's narrating it. That whole panel, hearing his voice transported me into this world that I've been spending time with lately, except it mostly transported me to the villains of this world. So every time he talked, I'd get chills.
Oh.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was so weird. But I'm a big fan of G. Willow Wilson, who's going to be doing more of the Sandman comics. So it wasn't just about the Audible.
Oh no, they talked about a lot of things, including the Netflix series that's coming, which I didn't realize that they weren't talking about Lucifer for a second, that we were actually getting more of a proper Sandman series, which was super exciting. And the big reveal was somebody in the chat room just said, no way, really? So the Netflix series, instead of taking place in 1988, like the Sandman novels do, it's going to take place in present day. And that allows them to open up for a whole new set of challenges because, technology has changed, life has changed. And what does that mean for this character and this universe? And I'm super excited. Netflix really just has some incredible content, guys.
Yes. I'm not familiar with Sandman at all, and I feel kind of like bad that I don't know anything.
You're not alone.
Okay. I was like, I'm about
you guys have some homework to do after this.
I know, right?
I do. Yeah.
I missed the panel for that, so I don't.
It's
know
okay.
anything.
I wouldn't have known anything about Sandman if the Lucifer series hadn't existed, and that was my introduction into realizing that this even happened. Because a good friend of mine that some of you guys, I think all of you know, Cliff from OneRing.net. Cliff is a huge Sandman fan, and he was very upset about Lucifer. Whereas I love Lucifer, and he was like, you need to read the graphic novels. Yeah.
Got it.
Awesome. All right. So another thing that was talked about was that they're giving The Flash a movie. So this isn't the TV Flash, but this is the DC Extended Universe film Flash, being Ezra Miller. And first of all, can we talk about how adorable Ezra Miller is? Because
he was Flash Jesus.
Oh my God, seriously! I like first of all, the long hair totally working for me. I was like, hello, Ezra Miller. That's
Flash.
I didn't even recognize him. I was just like, whoa, what?
When he first came out, I'm like, who is this? And then I hear the voice. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. But then the panel was super enjoyable. So this is a great example of how during Comic-Con, there was editing that happened in all the panels, and we felt like it took the life out of the panels. This time it added the life into it. This one was, it flowed.
It was Flash.
Super fast, Flash. The pacing was built like Flash.
Perfect. It was perfect. I loved it.
And Ezra Miller's flashbacks, oh my God. How random and amazing was that?
The flashbacks, yeah, I loved it.
Like a hippo is faster than a human, or that Superman is both a vegetarian and a Metallica fan. How is that possible? Because he's Superman. I laughed so hard when he talked about the Superman one, and then also I was blown away by the fact that the very first Batman was done by Andy Warhol, and I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I was looking it up right after he said that.
Yeah, totally. And it's Tiffany, I don't know if you caught this, but so the Warhol thing was originally a Batman Dracula movie. And there's only 39 minutes of the original film still in existence somewhere. And the soundtrack, the soundtrack's all by the Velvet Underground, which I was just like, well, first of all, that's very Warhol, but wow.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the movie?
Suit. They revealed his new suit, which I thought was really exciting. I like that they updated his suit.
What do you like about it?
Oh, the lights. I mean, it's organic. They had him wearing armor in the Justice League movie, which was cool. I thought it was perfect. But now this is like a second skin, and it's light flowing through it, so it's very organic. It's almost like it's part of him, which I think it's cool.
I liked
and then,
how they rendered the drawings. I want to actually see it on him. I want to see how it translates.
Exactly, because it could be too CGI. I hope it's not, but I think it will be.
The concept of actually being able to see the light through the suit is so breathtaking to me.
Yeah.
Tron.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that.
They could do it. They could do it. Tron did it well. Tron did it
really well.
So
yeah.
Well, now they've got to live up to the standards of Tron. Thanks for that, Peter. Like, just set the bar.
I feel like that's pretty easy though, because like that was done so long ago. Like they can do it.
Yeah, the original Tron did a good job of it, and then Tron Legacy, of course. But Tron Legacy was a while ago too. So
yeah, exactly. Like they got the technology; they can easily make it look really epic.
Just put some.
Which side note, and it has nothing to do with DC. There's another Tron movie coming.
Okay, they've been talking about that forever. I'll believe it when I see it.
It's actually happening now. They have a director locked in. The script is done. Like it's actually happening now.
Is it going to be with Olivia Wilde and
that we don't know. We don't know.
So I don't know if it's a continuation. They might just try to revamp the whole thing, which is not bad. I mean, that's okay.
Technology just continues to get better though. So like imagine the light cycles in the suits now. Woo!
Neato. I loved Tron Legacy, even though people were.
I loved it too. I thought it was great.
So did I. I liked it a lot. I did not understand why people were knocking it. All right, we got way off
DC guys, this is DC FanDome, all right?
That's DC FanDome. Tron discussion is coming later.
I wanted to comment on something that happened right before the Flash panel, which was the Multiverse 101. And I think the Flash is so important because it's really the vehicle to introduce us to the concept of the multiverse.
Yes.
Yep.
And in this panel, it was kind of exciting because you had the head of the TV programming for DC, the head of the movie, and the head of the comics.
Some big names in that one.
Talking together. And something I didn't realize that I thought was really fun for the Flash was that the movie Flash gets his name, the Flash, from the TV Flash.
I don't remember that part.
So
wait, how does that work?
Ezra Miller guests on the TV show on the CW, The Flash.
Oh, right.
Yes.
The TV Barry Allen says something about how they're called The Flash, and Ezra Miller had no idea that was like the name. And then he's now going to take that name into the movie version from the TV version.
I love that.
Yeah, the thing was, I don't remember him ever calling himself The Flash in Justice League movie. He doesn't. I have to rewatch it just to be 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure he didn't say it because I love the scene. They brought the scene from the episode of The Flash, and he's like, "I'm Barry Allen," but wait, I'm Barry Allen, and it's like, yeah, well, how are you another Flash? And he's like, Flash, and it's like, yeah, the Flash. I'm the Flash, and he's like, the Flash, and he's like, that's cool, you know.
I need to watch that episode again.
Oh, it's a great one. Yeah.
I haven't seen that episode, but that clip they kept showing of the two seeing each other of like, your suit is breathable.
Oh yeah, and he's like, I like yours too because it's like armor. And it's like,
yeah, that was adorable.
Speaking of the multiverse, I mean, it's crazy that they're having the movie characters see the TV show characters because there's a big following for the TV series, and they're like, we wish that the TV series Flash was our movie Flash, and some people were like, we wish the movie Flash was the TV Flash. It's like, well, because of the multiverse, they're in both. They're in it all, and I think that's awesome.
So this multiverse is how we're explaining Batman 5,000 times.
5,000 Batman. I mean, there's infinite number of Batmans.
Yes. Okay.
So
Lego Batman. Keaton,
he exists.
Kilmer.
He exists in the multiverse. Yes.
You know what I really love, and like Kristen, I know you've seen this episode, but there's an episode of Big Bang Theory where they surprise Sheldon Cooper by bringing Adam West to his birthday, and then all of them are in the car. It's Adam West, and then the three main guys that aren't Sheldon. Talking about their favorite Batmans and rating them in order, and Adam West totally chips in with his opinion, and it's brilliant.
Okay,
I haven't seen Big Bang Theory.
Go back to the multiverse and everything. So Zoe Kravitz, she's actually the voice of Catwoman in Lego Batman, and then she's gonna be Catwoman in the next one.
Oh,
That
the
was
Batman.
awesome.
The
And I'm like,
Batman.
oh,
Oh, that's awesome. Maybe
I like
that's
that
why
little
High
tie-in.
Fidelity- Maybe that's why High Fidelity got canceled. She's gonna be too busy with DC.
Very
Working on those
possible.
DC movies.
I didn't realize that she was going to be Catwoman, and I'm jumping ahead. I'm really sorry, guys.
It's
No.
all right.
Geek out. This is DC FanDome.
It's what we're here to talk about. Somebody in the chat room just said that one scene makes everything DC has ever made better. I'm guessing they're talking about the Flash scene. So yes.
I believe so. It brings a lot of stuff together.
Yeah, it does.
Absolutely. Okay, so yes, so Batman and the multiverses. So we've been having this interesting conversation, and we were starting to have it before we went live too, of how like, why do they keep remaking so many Batmans? There's been 7,000 million Batmans, and like I already have my Batman. I was good with Batman. And then like the short answer that we have is that people want more Batman because people love Batman.
I agree.
But then Peter started to explain the multiverse.
Yeah. And the multiverse is just what I believe is going to set DC aside from MCU, because, you know, they have to have their own things. You know, MCU, the greatest thing about the MCU is when the movies came together. Thor met Captain America, met Iron Man, and all. So everyone got excited with that. Well, with the multiverse, now extend that like a million times over because of the TV shows and the cartoons and all this stuff. Basically, what they're saying is everything that DC comes out with exists in this multiverse.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome because every Batman that you've ever seen exists. Michael Keaton Batman exists. And yes, I love him. He's my Batman too. But Christian Bale Batman exists. And, you know, after watching the trailer for The Batman, I'm kind of in. Because
Dude,
I loved it.
Totally in.
I loved it. I wasn't ready.
I'm right there with you. I am totally down to like skip ahead. Let's talk about the Batman because
let's.
I am literally like Robert Pattinson, not my jam. I've never seen Twilight. Like there's no feels or connections there. So when I heard Robert Pattinson and Batman, I was like, I don't know. That trailer, when he said like, I think he says like 2 words.
Yeah.
And like that's it. And I was just like, I'm in. I was just like, you've embodied Keaton perfectly. And like, oh my God.
I literally told Chelsea, it was like, Robert as Batty is going to be like a little panty dropper. Like, he's just like, ooh.
Well, they got this dark, so they have this dark, brooding looking Bruce Wayne. So, like, he's obviously playing young Bruce Wayne. Because when I saw him in the suit, what was that, Kristen? I'm having trouble hearing you.
Bruce Wayne could get any more emo. He's playing the even more emo version. It's like almost I got like teenage angst off him, even though he's more.
But that's accurate though. That's accurate because I'm sure that's what they're trying to portray. This is so I see him in the suit and I see this tiny guy because he is kind of tiny even in the suit. You know, Christian Bale had this big old, you know, armored, bulky guy, and Christian Bale got bulky for that movie. But you know, we see tiny, you know, Robert in this little suit. But this is what I think is year 1 Batman. Or even year 2 Batman.
This is year 2. So the movie is year 2.
Okay.
And then Matt Reeves is also part of the new Batman series. And the series centers around Gotham City Police Department, but that will be year 1 Batman. And these are being made like at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
So early Batman, all in all, early Batman. So, you know,
Which if you watched Gotham, you saw that young Bruce Wayne is sort of angsty. He's becoming that teen that's really upset with the world. So it makes sense that we've got angsty emo Batman.
Because guess what? Gotham exists in the multiverse.
Yes, exactly.
We're back full circle here.
Gotham was so amazing. It was so well done. I love, like, so many people were like upset that they went that young with them, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? This is brilliant."
It's brilliant.
There's
because
literally nothing about Gotham that I didn't love.
It was so brilliant. Okay, one more thing. Colin Farrell as Penguin. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know.
Colin's a pretty amazing actor. I could see it working out. The thing I'm a little nervous about, Andy Serkis as Alfred.
Oh.
I didn't know it was Andy Serkis, so I'm imagining Golem as Alfred. Bruce wants the Batmobile. Obviously, he's done way more than that. I loved him as Claw in the MCU, but he's actually a very talented actor. I think.
Oh, he is, but like,
brilliant.
I mean, everyone kind of has their bar of like, I don't think anyone's going to meet
Right.
this. Michael Caine is my Alfred.
Oh, he was
like,
great.
Yes.
There's no one better in my head. And then Sean Petrie from, I might have said his last name wrong, from Gotham is a very close second.
Oh, he was great. Oh, he was a wonderful Alfred.
Mm-hmm.
Even Jeremy Irons though did a great job. But he
was too Jeremy Irons for me. I kept being like, why is Scar Alfred?
There's no such thing as too much Jeremy Irons. Okay?
No, it's true. I completely agree with you. But
great. He's brilliant as well.
I couldn't see Alfred. I kept seeing Scar and Jeremy Irons. You know, like that's what I mean by too much Jeremy Irons.
Bruce, we have to kill Mufasa.
Yeah, exactly.
Long live the king.
Be prepared.
Just need some hyenas as henchmen.
Well, he could take them from Harley Quinn, so.
Yeah, there we go.
See, connecting it all together.
It's all, multiverse is bringing it full circle again.
Yeah. Wait. So the Lion King exists in the multiverse?
You know what? Maybe. Once Disney buys DCU, then maybe.
Oh my gosh. I actually really don't want that to happen.
I don't.
Like,
I don't either.
Don't want that to happen.
They have to stay separate entities.
I don't think that can happen actually with monopolies and stuff. Like I think Marvel and DC very much need
Let's
to
hope
be.
So.
Yeah.
I love Disney, but they're
also,
the Thanos in this whole situation, collecting companies.
Disney's got their hands full right now merging X-Men into the MCU anyway. Like
which I'm excited about
on that for a while. But that's a whole other chat because it's DC Day.
Yeah, DC Day. Back to DC.
But yeah, the Batman looks really good. Like I was very nervous about this going in, and that trailer was it's incredible because they only filmed for like a handful of days before COVID shut them down, and that trailer looks like the movie is ready.
Right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Music in that trailer, because that was everything for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
What was? I missed the first part of what you said.
The music in the trailer.
Oh.
Good,
I heard the mutants in the trailer, and I was like, mutants, we're getting back to Marvel. What's happening?
That's in your head.
Yeah. I'm excited to see Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, like real life. Like, I just really like her as an actress. So
but it's so I get worried when they try to go too big too fast. So I saw Penguin, I saw Catwoman, and then I saw these Joker thugs. Are they going to introduce Joker? I kind of hope not, because don't come with all these villains too fast, because that's kind of what to me happened with Justice League. You're giving us too much stuff to digest. Like, let's work towards it, and you can get a trilogy, you can get whatever.
Mm-hmm. and don't forget Riddler's also there as well.
Right.
Riddler I think is the main
main thing, and then Catwoman might just be a side thing where it's like she exists and they're going to bump into each other, but it's not going to be a big deal. That's kind of what I hope it's about. And an interesting thing about the Joker thugs, I was talking to my mom about the movie The Joker, which of course exists because of the multiverse. But what if this was also those thugs were the followers of the Joker afterwards, before the Joker is really prominent? So it's just the followers. So they could be just
that's what I thought
that believe in that. Yeah. So again, theories. I love making theories, but I won't be disappointed. It looks really, really great.
I totally am with you on the Joker thugs. Like, I don't think Joker is a part of it, to like what I was seeing. Like, I didn't see anyone that looked like that.
Right.
But I don't know. Like, the whole Selena Kyle with that, I feel like they're doing like a little relationship play fight stuff.
Which they should have. I mean, they did with the Batman Begins series, obviously at the end, that he ends up with Selena, but they don't really work with it. The Michael Keaton movies, that she's gone, she's dead, but she's not dead, but they never touch on it again. So, I mean, everyone knows that it's Selena and Bruce, but
Yep.
Two thoughts. First of all, when you said they touch on it and we know she's not dead, but they never get there. How excited are we that Michael Keaton might be coming back to play Batman?
Oh no, very excited. And again, guess why that can happen?
Because of the multiverse. Yes. This is, if there's one keyword to take away from this live right now, or from DC in general,
multiverse.
Just multiverse.
No, with the motion,
multiverse. From now on, that's what I'm going to do.
But that's the best. Oh, sorry.
I feel like it's like Pee-wee's Playhouse word of the day. When we say multiverse, like a bunch of stuff should happen. What were you going to say?
The couch is going to come alive.
That's the great thing about like the multiverse, because like we all have our favorite Batmans. they can all come back. Like, you can always see them again, and it's great and wonderful. It just makes me so happy because of all that. Sorry. Continue.
Well, so speaking of Joker thugs and Joker related things, that makes me think Harley Quinn, which makes me think the Suicide Squad. So this was another great panel that happened. And honestly, I'm going to be real honest. I have not seen the first Suicide Squad movie that came out. I did not hear amazing things about it, so it did not make me want to go see it. I did, however, see Birds of Prey, and I also got to work on it. And I see that Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn is going to be in the Suicide Squad, along with this amazing cast of people. Like, that was the most insane, like, that was a Comic-Con announcement.
Crazy panel.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, like, especially, I went Nathan Fillion.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask who was everyone most excited or shocked by in that reveal?
As in actors or characters?
Either.
There are some very obscure characters, but this is the great thing about Suicide Squad. It's introducing villains that exist in the DC universe. And
you mean in
multiverse? No. This is like, it brings villains that people don't really read up on or sometimes don't care about, but you can
like Polka Dot Man, because that was the one that I was like,
right. And there was a lot of characters that just seemed like repeats. Blackguard and there was Blackguard, and Idris Elba is playing this guy.
Was he Peacemaker? No,
Peacemaker was John Cena.
That's right. Yeah.
But again, all guys wearing masks or helmets with guns, and I'm like, you're kind of all playing the same person, but you're not. I was fine with just Deadshot. He was the shooting guy.
And he's not in it, right?
He's not. No, Will Smith, I believe, said something that he didn't want to be in the next movie, which is sad because he was actually one of the better parts of that movie.
He was really good.
It was amazing.
Now you're making me want to go watch Suicide Squad because I love me some Will Smith.
Okay. So
I actually really liked the first one. I am an unpopular opinion and well aware of that. I liked it.
It's
I think
a fun movie.
Margot is flipping amazing.
Which she didn't like being Harley, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, but she was great. I thought she was the best part of it. We won't talk about the Joker in that one. It's my least favorite Joker in the entire multiverse.
Wait, really? Like worse than the Joker in Gotham? Because I really could not handle the Gotham Joker.
He's like 1,000 times worse.
Yeah.
Like he should never ever be.
He looks like he looks like a cholo. He doesn't seem like he belongs where he belongs. It was just not written well. So,
but
whatever.
Horrible. Like you couldn't wait for him to go off the screen.
But great cast. I think that movie had great casting. It was pushed out too fast. It was a product of not really knowing what to release when they're like, we have to have a DC movie. Everyone loves Suicide Squad. Let's get this out of here. Now, that's the complete opposite that I feel for this movie. First off, James Gunn. Let's talk about James Gunn. He is a power director for nerd stuff. I have my list of power directors for nerdy stuff. Joss Whedon, James Gunn,
basically everyone that's directed an MCU movie.
Right. And they're bringing so when DC calls him, they're bringing in some major talent, in my opinion. And even the actors this is James Gunn we're talking about. So this is going to be,
well, it was also what was amazing was when James started talking about working on this film, he said this was the biggest budget he's had to work with yet. And I was like, bigger than Marvel giving you stuff for Guardians of the Galaxy? Like, that's impressive.
Well, I mean, look at the amount of actors that you have already with the actor budget. I'm sure you're.
And did you see all the explosions that they were doing? Like, that's a lot of action.
Michael Bay was like, I need to step up my game.
Yeah. It was like, oh my gosh. I was freaking out when I was watching the behind the scenes stuff. I was like, what is happening?
So it's funny that you're talking about Suicide Squad because they're introducing King Shark there. And it's the King Shark from the Harley Quinn. It seems like the King Shark from the Harley Quinn animated series.
Yes.
And I love that King Shark because they had a Suicide Squad animated movie that had King Shark and he was forgettable. The one from the animated series is, first off, a laugh riot.
Yes.
And I hope they write him like that one.
Yes.
And it kind of segues, if we're done talking about the movie, I'll let everyone have their comments, but I kind of want to segue into the video game.
I was going to say we should get into the video game, but before we get into that, let's finish the panel stuff. So another thing that was interesting about this panel was the game that they played, and everybody picked their teams, and then we're, you know, testing their DC knowledge. And I had to say that it made me feel really good to know that I know about as much as DC as these actors playing the characters.
A lot of stuff to work with. That's why. And can we stop being a bully to Michael Rooker?
Oh, that poor guy. I was very like, okay, so I don't know about Polka Dot Man, so that was like a deep cut for me. And then I got very confused because the actors even seemed to be confused about what Polka Dot Man's powers were. And like they were like, I thought they were like bombs that come out, and they're like, no, that he just shoots dots off. And I was like, what kind of power is this? Why is this a power? It's sort of like there's a Marvel character that just has letters and just like letters that come off of him. It's like the same thing. Anyway, I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah. So to answer Kristen's question, Nathan Fillion for actor, Polka Dot Man for character, Peter and Tiffany. What were your most mind blown?
John Cena. I love John Cena because, you know, now we're in an age where like wrestlers are you know, I love The Rock, and John Cena it has potential to get to that status, definitely, because he has great charisma and he's a power. He stands there and
so
people
you
are
want to
watching.
see The Rock and John Cena stand off in a movie together is what
Oh,
you're
absolutely. Yeah, definitely. You read my mind before I can even finish it. Yeah, but no, watching him as in casting as John Cena, you know, casting John Cena as his character, I was like, oh, that was good to see him on that panel.
Mm-hmm.
Fun guy.
Or Kristen, you haven't said yours either.
Yes, mine, hands down, Peter Capaldi, the Doctor. Come on, guys! Like,
Yes,
that made me so. That was the moment that I freaked out in that panel.
yes.
I have to say, what's his name? He's an SNL actor. He did King of Staten Island, I believe. Pete Davidson. So Pete Davidson is another what I think could be an obscure. But again, this is Suicide Squad, so you can really, honestly, if Kristen Wiig went to Suicide Squad, I would be like, perfect, because it's a hodgepodge of characters and you never know what you'll get. So Pete Davidson, though it's like, oh, he's gonna be in a superhero, supervillain movie, is that really? I think it's a perfect opportunity because you'll be allowed to be kind of odd or you could just go wild because Suicide Squad gives you that freedom. You're a villain. And I think villains are sometimes easier or more fun to play than heroes, you know.
But
Tiffany,
what are your choices?
I definitely was excited about Nathan Fillion. Like I love him, so I was excited about that, and I was excited about the whole King Shark being different.
Okay.
Because definitely, I really like King Shark as like a character. I love him in the animated so much. Like the Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy like
dynamic
animation is fantastic. If any of you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's so good. And to see that they were doing it different. Also, Idris Elba, I'm saying his name. I could listen to him all day long.
All day.
So I am excited for anything.
Now, what were you more excited about, Nathan Fillion or his stash? Because what was going on with the mustache?
I don't.
Quarantine stash.
No thanks.
That was it was an interesting choice, Nathan. It was interesting.
No thanks.
I was also, honestly, I was very shocked by Viola Davis. She's an incredible actress.
Oh, absolutely.
But I don't think I've seen her do really like any kind of nerdy superhero type stuff before. Like
she's in the first one.
She's in the first one.
Okay.
She was great. She was amazing.
She's amazing in the first one.
She's amazing in everything she does. She's incredible.
Star power in the first one.
Yeah.
Yep. She's
so cool.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right. Well, so Peter, take us into the video game.
So, let's go look here. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. That's the title of the video game. That's a mouthful, but it gives you a lot of what it's going to be about. It's done by Rocksteady Games, which is actually the creator. They're a big studio that did the Arkham trilogy. Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knights. And it has been confirmed that this film takes place not only in that universe, but after Arkham Knights. It's
Awesome.
a 4-player co-op game where you get to play 4 members of the Suicide Squad, which one of them is King Shark. So my thing is, like I said, this is the year of the King Shark because
Yes.
if they have him like the character in the cartoon, I am in 100% because he is so cool. He's a villain that was obscure that I didn't know about, and I'm just like, I'm there. So you get to play as either King Shark, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, or Harley Quinn, and they all have their different move sets. And you work together. And the trailer showed a scene where Superman looks like he's saving a pilot from a helicopter crashing, but he actually uses his laser vision to vaporize him. And there's a scene where Captain Boomerang's like, "Oh, so who are we supposed to kill?" And they point at Superman, and he's like, "Off," and then it just closes off. And that's the end of the trailer. And I was like, I'm there. It's great. So it looks like as the Suicide Squad, you're gonna have to kill the Justice League. I don't know to what level what's happening, if it's actually Superman, if it's actually the Justice League, or evil versions of it. It looks like one of the main villains might be Brainiac, so there might be mind control in there, but it looks super neat.
How did you feel about the character like looks? Like, how did
It's
you?
great.
Yeah.
No complaints about the characters. The way that they moved, the way that they talked, it was very organic. It didn't seem forced. It's something that I'm very, very excited for. It was, it's great. A Suicide Squad game, and for 4 players, that's a big deal. I'm all for co-op games.
Yeah, King Shark. And
Which would you like me to go
option.
into the next game? Being King Shark, he looks like he's going to be like a big bruiser character. That's like the big heavy guy. The next game that I saw was Gotham Knights, and this was a big deal because people have just been speculating for a really long time. What's this going to be about? What is this? What is it going to take place in this? Who's in it? So they revealed the characters. They revealed 7 minutes of gameplay. It's done by WB Games Montreal, which is another company that worked on the Arkham series, but this has been confirmed that it is not in the Arkhamverse. It is heavily inspired from the Arkhamverse, both in how it's designed and how it looks, and how it plays also, but not in the same universe. So you could play as Robin, Batgirl, Red Hood, or Nightwing. So another game with 4 different characters, but this one has 2-player co-op. So you either play solo with a computer played partner, or one of your friends joins in through the entire story. So I'm all in trying to play Red Hood, and somebody could be like Batgirl for me. Now, they said Batgirl, but her design looks very much like Batwoman.
Exactly, that's what I thought.
From the TV show, because it has the red hair and the eyes and stuff. But the guy specifically said Batgirl. So you got a motorcycle. It's open world. They introduced Mr. Freeze as a villain. Cool stuff. I'm really excited for both these games. Talking about a 2021 release on both of them, I believe. So we got a year. I gotta wait, but COVID hopefully doesn't affect the release date.
Mr. Freeze is like one of my favorite villains.
COVID's affecting every release date, though, so just let that go, Peter. All right, Justice League, the Zack Snyder cut. This is the next big thing that's happened. So we got a teaser trailer.
A great one.
Yep, a really great one. We found out that it's 2021 when it's going to come out. We don't know specifically when. We found out that they're going to split it up like a TV series into 4 parts. That's interesting.
That's a good idea.
It's a good idea. I mean, it's close to 4 hours in length. I get that, but like, seems weird for a movie being spliced into a TV. But I guess like Game of Thrones and everything else we watch are kind of like mini movies now.
Right. Yeah.
I actually think that this is the future. I saw a movie from Quibi the other day, and I saw the whole thing all in one shot like a movie, but it was broken up into 10-minute segments. And I really do think this is the future. I think we're going to get 6 8-hour movies, but it's going to be segmented. And I think that there's a lot.
Now, while you think this is the future, do you think that means we're going to go to the movie theater and see the 4 films? Like, is this The Hobbit in like 3 different years,
I think that's an interesting thing about the pandemic situation we're in. I think it's opening up people's minds about ways to deliver content. So I can imagine like a 6-hour movie where maybe the first or last 2 hours are in the theater, but then like maybe the first hours are released on some streaming platform or something. Like I think this is opening up the way people think about giving the audience media. And I mean, TV shows have been changing forever now, but I think we're going to see even more of that. Like now you have seasons that are shorter and they're built more like movies, and it makes sense that we're going to see a continuation that merges what a TV show is and what a movie is.
It's a very creative approach. Yeah.
If anything, there are so many times where I have thought that a movie deserves so many parts. Let's talk about Artemis Fowl for a second. I love the book series. That movie should not have seen the light of day. And it was a lot of content, I get, that they had to work with. But man, they didn't do any justice to it.
It should have been a TV series of some sort. It should have been a TV series. Yeah.
And if you're like talking about what you're talking about, Kristen, of blurring the lines between television and movies, that started with Netflix, really, of like, we're going to show you an hour episode, but like if you put them together, it's just one big movie. Stranger Things to me plays like a big movie.
Yeah.
So, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, it's like, I think this Justice League cut is going to be incredible because it might actually make it a movie. I was going to say worth watching. It's always worth watching at least once. I mean, it's DC, but it'll make it something a lot more special because everything was so forced and rushed and stuff. And I'm like, what this character, and what are we going? Oh, we're already here? Okay, fine. But you know, it would be really interesting if like the first movie talks about Batman looking for everyone. The second movie is about Flash doing his Flash things. And the third movie is like Aquaman doing Aquaman things. And the last movie is like, they're all coming together. I don't know, you know, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that Zach did tell us is that they're going to flush out Cyborg more. So there's going to be a lot more Cyborg. Which
is great because that's one of my favorite characters in that movie.
Awesome.
I'm kind of over all of it because everyone is just talking crazy about it like all the time, and I'm just kind of like
I'm just ready for it to come out at this point. Like
I just needed to come out. I will totally watch it because it's DC, it's Batman, it's all things, but I don't know, it's got to do a lot for me to be like, yeah, that was great.
I mean, I'm almost like you have to make a new movie to fix what happened. But we'll see. I'm definitely going to give it a chance. And I am excited. I'm just not like, you know.
I'm excited. I'm just like trepidatious, I guess is a good word. Just the 4 hours seems daunting right now, you know.
Digest it. Take a one view and then move to the next day.
One episode at a time. You know?
One episode at a time.
Thank you for coming here today. So, speaking of other things that we could get excited about, I knew this much, 00, about Black Adam. I also tend to not really care about The Rock. That's a personal taste. Holy crap. The combination of the two, though, and just The Rock talking about this film, I got super excited about Black Adam.
So
The Rock is like a lot of people's heroes. Like when I've seen him at conventions, I have never seen so many grown men lose their complete minds over him.
Yeah.
Like big burly dudes just losing it, crying and everything. Like The Rock is king. So I'm excited for this. I have no idea anything about it though.
Yeah, the thing that like I'm coming around to The Rock is that there's been a lot of great social media videos during quarantine, and then how he delivered this panel, I was just like, you know what? I've greatly misjudged The Rock. You know, I was like, and I like the way that I felt about Josh Gad for a long time, and I've come around and just was like, you know what? I'm down. Like I was worried about him being in Jungle Cruise. I'm excited to see that now. I really liked how at the end of this discussion about Black Adam, he kind of gave a warning to Aquaman and Wonder Woman and Batman and everyone that he's coming for him. That you know, like I'm the real hero. Like in the way he delivered it with the little wink at the end, I was just like,
oh no, he is charming as hell.
Yeah,
100%. Now, just a little.
For that is, I have that. To me, this was the most Comic-Con feeling of a panel of all of them. And I think it's all down to all those things that you guys just mentioned.
Yeah, no, it felt like the Hall H announcement we were missing.
Yeah.
Just a little side thing about Black Adam. He is Shazam's counterpart, basically.
That's what I realized from the costume.
Yeah.
And I was very like, wait, that's the Shazam look. Like, what's going on here? So I'm very curious. Do you know more about that history?
Okay, so just to go back a little bit, a word on the internet right now is a lot of people are upset that like they're taking everything away from Shazam. That's the comment that I'm hearing, that should be Shazam's hero, but now they're making it kind of like Superman's deal, or like, you know, the Justice League's deal. But it's like, he was a big deal for the Justice League too, but basically he's someone that thinks that Shazam's unworthy to have his power. So you know, Shazam's kind of like this godlike power of like, you know, level of being. So Black Adam's like, well, you know, it's my power. You know, so he is nega Shazam. He's the opposite Shazam, basically. So I mean, that's really all you need to know. He has the same power.
So he's evil?
He's evil.
Or he's okay. So he's like Megaduck.
He's evil, but he doesn't think he's evil. Like, he thinks he's all about justice, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's also kind of like the trend. Like,
yeah.
Villains that are like,
a lot of villains seem to think they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Thanos.
Oh my god.
Yes.
That was great. Well, speaking of Shazam, that's a great little segue into it. We talked about it a little bit before, that was a very entertaining 7 minutes, but Zachary Levi has always been the king of moderating panels and making things entertaining. I've said it before. I will say it 400 more times. Nerd HQ, Levi, please bring it back. 2020 especially could benefit from Nerd HQ. But this was great. They had absolutely nothing they could tell us about Shazam 2. Not a thing. And it made it in 7 minutes. It was the most entertaining, we have nothing to tell you I've ever seen. And that felt like Comic-Con.
I actually didn't see the Shazam panel, unfortunately.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, it was so good, guys. So good.
Yeah. So
We'll watch it afterwards.
It starts off with Zachary Levi by himself being like, so I'm here to tell you about Shazam 2, because that may or may not be the name of it. I might have just said too much, and we haven't really started shooting, and the script is really tight, so I don't think I can really talk about anything. So you know what, hold on. And he brings in like a bunch of like friends, and then they're all like, oh my god, Zach, what are we doing? You're gonna help me not talk about Shazam 2. And they're all like, okay. And then like while they're not talking about it, what was it, the director that comes in?
Yeah.
And like they start to say something, and he like just shows up, and he's like, what are you guys doing? We can't talk about it. And so then they're like, right, okay, we've got our police is here now. And then Sinbad
shows up. That was the best.
Sinbad just shows up out of nowhere, and then like we're like, whoa, is this an announcement? Is Sinbad in this movie? And Sinbad's like, yeah, I'm in this movie just because everyone thought I was in the first one too. Google it, it's a thing. He goes, and also for the record, I'm also in Kazam, so I'm in all the Zam movies, the Kazam, the Shazam, like, you know, like. And so then while Sinbad is there, Adam Brody just pops in, which I'll take Adam Brody for any amount of time I can get Adam Brody. And then he goes, oh, is Sinbad in the movie with us? And like, you know, it's just like this whole like, what is happening? Nobody knows. And then they finally revealed the title of the movie, Shazam, Fury of the Gods. And that just sounds epic. I'm a big mythology type person, so awesome.
DC should be up your alley, because DC tends to talk about the gods a lot, you know. Wonder Woman is technically in that Greek pantheon era, and you know, that's another thing about DC, that they tend to like to talk about the gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so does Marvel with Thor, but I mean, that's Norse mythology.
And Loki.
Yeah.
Yes, Loki. Obviously, if I'm talking about Thor, there's Loki.
You can't leave out Loki
and Odin.
Talking to me about but yeah, so like anyway, case in point, I don't think the footage exists anywhere, because that was the point of FanDome, was that this was only available for 24 hours. But Zachary Levi, you should have been the host of DC FanDome. I love you, Aisha Tyler. You're a great host for a lot of things. Zachary Levi, can he dethrone? This is such a controversial thing. I'm gonna have people sending me hate mail. Can he dethrone Kevin Smith as the king of the nerds?
Uh-oh.
But I mean,
You
I love
said
Kevin.
that? Oh.
I love Kevin, but like the ultimate nerd host.
Maybe they can work together.
Oh my god, that'd be
power
incredible.
Couple.
Oh my, could you
and
imagine?
then they could have a Kevin Smith multiverse.
Could you imagine if Kevin Smith had a podcast with Zachary Levi?
Oh my gosh.
That would be genius.
Because I know Kevin Smith watches this, so he's
absolutely. We definitely we don't want to knock Mark Bernardin though, who co-hosts Fat Man on Batman.
Not at all. That they're a great duo. I love watching
fantastic.
their stuff.
And Mark actually surprised us. He was running a panel during FanDome when they introduced Static, as like we're getting a new like.
I wasn't there.
Oh my goodness. We're getting a brand new character comic series introduced in the world. And we've had Phil Lamar was there, and it was a great discussion.
Static as in like Static Shock? Like there was a old animated series called
I think it's Static Shock. I think that's what they were doing.
It has a graphic novel and a comic series. I liked it, so maybe I'll have to look that up.
I'm trying to see if I can actually find specific wording that they had yesterday. Static Shock movie is in development.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
like
that's
a
what
live
we're talking
action.
about. I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, the fact that Phil Lamar was there, Phil tends to do a lot of animated voices. That makes me feel like maybe not, but maybe so.
I love DC animated stuff. I mean, like whatever it is.
Yes. And I think that was pretty much the big announcements of the day. Did we miss anything, guys?
We haven't. There's a movie we haven't talked about yet.
Which movie? What did I forget?
Aquaman.
I completely missed that they talked about Aquaman. When did that happen?
No. I didn't watch that either.
It was a whole Aquaman panel. It was mostly James Wan and Patrick Wilson, who've been doing like films together for forever, and they were just chatting a lot about the history of how Patrick, got that role and that kind of thing. The Ocean Master, I think he plays. There wasn't much. There might have been some sort of teaser of some sort.
I heard online that Aquaman 2 is supposed to be serious. They're making it very serious in tone. That's the only thing I heard.
No, sometimes super serious isn't what the people want.
Yeah,
goes a long way.
I really liked the first Aquaman. I thought it was great.
I like the goofy guy that he is. He's great.
Yeah, like that's how he is in person and
he
stuff
brought his
too.
character into it, and I thought that was wonderful.
Maybe they decided they wanted more Game of Thrones into it.
Kill everybody.
Well, no, I just mean Jason Momoa's character in Game of Thrones.
So then he's gonna die.
Oh God, that is not where I was going with that.
And I actually really liked her as Mara too, but besides the whole point, but like, I don't know. I just liked how that movie turned out. I'm kind of sad that they're making it serious. Oh my gosh, I can't speak anymore.
Serial.
So what's interesting is we just gave a lot of information about DC out and had some great discussion stuff. Now I feel like this 1 8-hour block of programming had more announcements than 5 days of Comic-Con.
Yes. I agree.
Agreed.
Yeah. So now DC has basically been like, mic drop.
Right.
Here's what's going on. Although we still have a ton of content to come on September 12th.
I'm really so excited.
What's going on with Marvel? Marvel, are you going to do a convention? Are you going to have a virtual announcement like that? Like, I feel like Disney has to be watching FanDome to be like, let's see how they
send
do.
Send people to watch it. Like, hey.
But like, they have to be watching kind of like, let's see how this goes. And then we can decide how we want to do ours. Like.
I'm beyond excited for X-Men to join because I love the X-Men.
Agreed.
So much.
And I have to say, like, I feel like Phase 4 and announcements for Marvel got very rushed of like, we have this whole new merger and like, don't worry, X-Men are going to fit into it somewhere. But we've got Eternals and all these other things happening. And then COVID happened. I feel like there's a lot of room for Marvel to be restructuring right now. And
Exactly.
really,
Everything.
Exactly. They're going to be quiet. They're going to be the sleeping giant right now, is my guess. They are absorbing what other people are doing. They're taking time to be like, okay, so we have all these announcements, but now we have a lot of time to really think about what we're doing. So I don't know if they will have a convention. I think they should, or at least some sort of like a day of announcements. It doesn't have to necessarily be a convention, but it would be great if it was, because would I be there and I would be talking about it here. So
which New York Comic Con is coming up in a few weeks, and New York Comic Con is partnered with YouTube. So I expect they've already said that there will be a live chat element, that they're not turning the chat room off like Comic Con did. So I'm very curious to see, since this is going to be a bigger partnership, maybe Marvel or Lucasfilm or some of those bigger announcements we were missing goes to New York Comic Con. And again, New York Comic Con, it's virtual and it's free for everybody, the way that DC FanDome and Comic Con at home was. So this is my first year going to New York Comic Con. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Like
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I just am excited. I don't know how they're going to do everything with Marvel. So like the whole like writers right now, they're probably just loving COVID because they have so much time to
they're
really like fine-tune everything. And I'm so excited to hear about that, but I don't know if they're going to be ready for New York Comic Con to reveal stuff.
Right.
I don't know.
So if something doesn't get revealed in New York Comic Con, we still have LA Comic Con.
LA Comic Con is still trying to happen in person in December, and they never really get any announcements. So,
but I mean, if they get wise, maybe they can be like, okay, you know what? It really is not going to happen. Let's do our virtual. It could totally still happen.
But like, they never ever get big announcements at LA Comic Con. That's a small con.
Super small.
One can hope.
New York Comic Con is the second largest after Comic Con at home, though, and they get the announcements that Comic Con doesn't get. So I'm very curious to see how that happens. But we also, we've got September 12th of DC FanDome Part 2 to look forward to, which means that we'll probably be back on September 12th or 13th to talk about whatever happened there. That is, if they don't wake up that morning and say, we've postponed to whatever day it is.
2021.
Which could they, if they're going to postpone, could you at least just give people advance notice, or add a banner on the page that says we've moved up? I couldn't even find the schedule anymore once the DC FanDome site opened. I was like, okay, so all this stuff's gone, but what are you even showing me today on the Hall of Heroes? Like, where is the schedule? That was really frustrating. Also, the store, we need to talk more about the store in a minute. I was like, but in terms of September 12th, I do want us to highlight a little bit of what were you looking forward to that got canceled, or should I say postponed yesterday?
The DC pets.
Oh yes, they were gonna do a little like collage of people at home dressing their pets like DC characters. That was fun. For me, the Joker escape room, I was very much looking forward to doing the escape room.
Mm-hmm. For me, since I'm really like all in with the Harley Quinn animated series.
Yes,
the Q&A with Harley.
They did that
We were
yesterday.
talking about how were they gonna. They did.
They did. It was part of the programming yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Remember, I had a weird day yesterday.
The pets thing too. They had all the pets dressed up.
Well, so they showed some of the pets, just like they showed some of the tattoos and some of the cosplay and some of the art. But there's a bigger part of that comes on the 12th.
Okay, good.
But the Harley Quinn Q&A, they took questions in advance, so it wasn't live. It was fully animated, and she just answered off the cuff. There was a lot of conversation about Chipotle, which made me very happy. And then it was really funny when she commented on Big Bang Theory, because she does play Penny in Big Bang Theory. So that did happen. Kristen, what else were you looking forward to?
So the things I was most looking forward to, almost none of them happened yesterday.
Same with mine.
And it's mostly the TV shows that I love. I'm really looking forward to more about Pennyworth. Doom Patrol is like my favorite show right now.
Great.
Doom Patrol, yeah. I really wanted the Lucifer panel.
Yeah, and then they were gonna do the radio show world premiere, like the Superman radio show from the 40s, with with like a all-star cast, and I was really looking forward to that.
Yeah. I know for Tiffany, I'm surprised this wasn't the first thing she said. And when you got all excited, Tiffany, I really thought this was what was coming out of your mouth. DC Stargirl panel.
Oh, yes. I love Stargirl. I forgot all about it. I love Stargirl so much. I'm obsessed. Like, I have to watch it as soon as it comes out. I'm really like, I need to know.
Yeah, so that's another panel that got postponed. There's also like the cosplay contest for fans that were looking forward to that. It's going to be an interactive thing where everybody that joins in on the 12th can vote for their favorite cosplayer and see a real-time leaderboard and of who's in the lead. And these people are going to win cash prizes, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They postponed that if they've extended the entry period, if people can still enter for their cosplays. Something to look into.
No, it's awesome.
But okay, so that's a little bit of what to look forward to on the 12th, everybody. There's also DC karaoke, and there's going to be trivia and all sorts of other stuff going on. There's also a ton of fan Q&As with the casts of all of those shows and a lot of the films we just talked about. So very curious to see how all of that goes. Now the DC store. I don't know how many of you guys clicked on the FanDome store.
Browsed.
That was pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was.
When you
Agreed.
finally got to this broken store, it was just a bunch of banner ads for all their license partners.
Yes.
Of where to go shop. And I was like, go to Hot Topic. Go to this site. I was just like.
Then there was like one banner that said DC FanDome exclusives, and I went there.
And I clicked on that, and it took you to like I forget, it's a company like Designs for Humans kind of company.
Designed by humans or designed for humans, yeah.
Yeah, I was like that. They always have a booth at every convention,
right?
And then you like once you got there was a DC section, and then there was the DC FanDome section, and then the shirts. I looked at them and was like, who would wear that?
Well, there was a few that I wanted for Batman because you can choose by hero, you can choose by like.
I didn't even get to the shirt stuff.
It was like underwhelming. I didn't want to buy anything.
I didn't want to buy anything. I was like, you literally like there was not one like I wanted something. I wanted to order something to be like I was here for DC FanDome because are they ever going to do this again? Maybe not.
I wanted to talk about that too. It's just like this was really great. If we ever went, when we go back to doing live things, could you do something live? Could you do like a little mini convention? I would love that. Why not?
Yeah. I was like, I mean, Warner Brothers, DC, Marvel, they all have specific conventions throughout the world that they do participate in. There's NCM in London. There's the big Brazil Comic-Con that happens and stuff like that. But nothing has happened on this scale globally at the same time, interpreted into multiple languages.
Yeah.
I feel like this makes it so convenient and easy for them that like it could be a really cool thing to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously people are going to want in-person experiences, but there's so many fans that can't ever even get a ticket to a Comic-Con that you're like now able to like cater to. But where was that merchandise to show me that like, hey, I was at the first DC FanDome?
Maybe there'll be stuff at this next one.
Yeah, maybe they've got 3 weeks to figure it out. And since we know the top executives of DC are watching this right now, like so.
Yeah. Alongside Kevin Smith.
All right, everybody, you can take a moment to think about it. But one final note. The best moment and the most frustrating or disappointing moment of DC FanDome. And we'll end on that. Everybody give your best and your worst. And the worst can still be like things being postponed, if that's what, doesn't have to be like, oh, this casting announcement was disappointing. Anybody ready?
I can go. So the worst was by far the opening of the whole experience and being so confused and so lost and getting no guidance. That was the worst. The best, there was a panel about CNN put it on with Anderson Cooper, all about the heroes of the pandemic. And there was a company in China that was delivering boba tea to all of
Oh no, it always was.
That was the best. The whole
Hashtag Kristen Bobaverse.
Yes.
Bobaverse.
Bobaverse.
Oh goodness.
There you go. That's my
That's
highlight.
great. No, awesome. It's funny how you can always find something with boba. You're amazing. That's a magic trick. That is a superpower.
I used to have
is a
a radar.
superhero.
I used to have like a radar for Taco Bell. I could always navigate to a Taco Bell without actually knowing where one was. I think that's Kristen's thing. She has Boba radar.
Bobadar.
Also,
Yeah.
I can go right after that because she kind of took the words all out from my mouth. Because
Really? You were excited about Boba too?
oh no, the first part where it's like the underwhelming beginning of it, where it was like you go to a page and the page just seems so bleh. If I would have walked across it not really thinking about wanting to watch anything, I'd be like, is this an advertisement for fandom? Is this like a teaser trailer? Luckily I knew what I was looking for because of you guys, but I don't know if I would have if you guys didn't tell me anything. And then the best thing though, again, we already talked about this. It was packaged in that content itself was so good. There was a lot of great content, and the Flash was one of my tops as far as movies to look forward to. The Batman trailer, and I remember complaining when we did San Diego Comic-Con. I felt like a lot of stuff didn't feel exclusive to me. Like nothing hit me. But here's a trailer for The Batman. Here's a trailer for video games that you're interested. Here are exclusives that came out today for you joining us. This is what we're going to give you, and it felt special. That's Comic-Con experience.
And there was no way to rewind or fast forward. Right. Whereas like Comic-Con at home, you had to open a video that is still available on YouTube at this moment. And which, by the way, since Comic-Con, I have not tried to watch any of the things I've missed.
Right. So it was very exclusive. Like if I don't catch this, and they had 3 encores, I believe, but if you didn't catch it, like you got to like, oh, they had this announcement at this time. I have to make sure that I'm ready for that announcement. So that's pretty neat. I like that.
All right, Tiffany, do you have yours?
So I had some technical difficulties in the beginning, but like when I figured out that I had to like watch a link and everything, I kind of got frustrated like everyone else that I was just like, it was like, where am I? I'm in the middle of the panel. I have no idea what it is. Like there was no way to like tell me any information. So that was frustrating for me because I started late. I didn't understand what was going on. But my favorite is Robert being Batty. Oh my gosh, when he spoke, I was just like, oh yes, yes. And I'm not like, I read the books for Twilight. I did all that. I wasn't really into him as like that whole part, but this for some reason worked for me. And the whole Suicide Squad, that behind the scenes stuff, I was freaking out. Like I was so excited.
Suicide Squad's a big one.
So excited.
Yeah, I definitely would have to say Kristen and I touched on this like privately during yesterday, but they didn't do a good job of labeling even the programming that was happening. Like they would introduce a guest panelist, and if you weren't watching the screen, let's say you went to take a sip of water, you now had no idea who that person was for the next 20 minutes. And I was just like, we could have left some sort of titles up, or this is the Wonder Woman panel. I mean, obviously the big ones you can figure out, but like whatever was happening with like the story of Joker throughout time, like that could have been clearly labeled somehow. I very much enjoyed that they had Jack Nicholson actually on camera talking about playing the Joker though. That was pretty rad.
He's a great Joker too. Just throwing that out there.
He's my favorite Joker. I mean, honestly, that original Batman just hits me everywhere. Like Michelle Pfeiffer, phenomenal. Like even that Alfred was fantastic. Like, yeah.
Michael, believe that's his name.
I don't know. I'm going to just say I don't know because I don't. All right, let's see. My least favorite part of, since everybody else has said pretty much the same thing, I'm going to pick something else. What was really also irritating for me was the nonstop scroll of Twitter going on the right side of the screen. I don't understand the point of it other than a few fans around the world got super excited that their tweet got picked, but I found it super distracting. And then it would have some big graphic because somebody would tweet an image. So then I'd go over and look at it and I'd miss what was happening on the screen. And then I'd want to read the comment from that person. And they did a great job of picking people from different countries that speak different languages. But now I was like, I have no idea why I just got distracted by this tweet because I don't speak whatever language that was at that moment. I think they could have included it in a way that wasn't so distracting and it still would have worked, but it was a lot of space that they could have used to say, by the way, the rest of the event is happening on September 12th.
I think they were trying to do a little bit of the Twitch stream where there's like stuff happening on the right side. And then, it is exciting with a live thing. You're like, oh my God, that's my comment. That's what I said, you know?
Yeah. And so then my favorite part, Zachary Levi. Zachary Levi and Adam Brody. Yep. And bring Nerd HQ back. That's all I got. That's it.
I would have liked also, by the way, a little program on the bottom. So like we knew that it was going to be 2 encores, and they should have known kind of what time everything was going to be. So they could have been like, hey, if you go from this time to this time, it's this little chapter of the thing. If you go here, if you want to wait for the Gotham Knights, here it is.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of
again, they removed the entire schedule, which they had up before the event. And the schedule would have told you when everything was encoring and when it was repeating. And now people were like, I don't even know what I missed. I don't know what I should be sticking around for. Like, that they better include a schedule. Come on.
Yeah, it's needed.
Around noon or so that day. And I tweeted, for those of you that need the schedule, that can't find it, here you go. I got more responses of people saying thank you than any tweet I've put out in years. Like, that right there just shows you that you needed to have the schedule.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like a given. Like, you should have that there, but maybe someone
we needed. The schedule, like what panel was next, like who are the panelists, like what's the name of the panel, like a little more hand-holding, I think would have been.
Yeah. Which this was also an issue we had with Comic-Con at Home. And I do feel like DC FanDome did it slightly better than Comic-Con at Home in all of those parts. But this is an ongoing experience. This is new. Virtual Cons 2020. Here we go. Well, I want to thank all of you guys for joining me in this discussion today. I want to thank everyone that's been in the chat room, commenting, and anybody that's watching this in the archives. We hope you enjoyed that lively discussion. It's probably the longest we've all talked, but I laughed so much. I had so much fun chatting with you guys.
Yes.
I love these. This is a good time.
Yeah. Why don't everybody go around and say wherever we can find you and keep in touch? Kristen, you go ahead.
You can't find me.
I'm hiding.
You can't find her.
Yeah, find me at the next live here.
All right, there you go. The next live. If you want to keep in touch with Kristen, just leave a comment on this YouTube, and she'll check it, and that's what we've got. Peter, what about you? Where can everybody find you?
You could technically find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Little Chico Dude. That's LITTLE CHIO.
CHICO.
And then dude spelled DOOD. That basically it's spelled as it should be.
Little Chico Dude, but dude is DOOD. Yeah.
DOOD. The streams don't come up as often as I would like, but I'm trying to work on that. So
and you are technically on Instagram as well, Tiny.
Unboard Gamer. UNBORED Gamer.
Bored as in like you've lost interest instead of board games.
Exactly.
Unboard Gamer. And Tiffany, what about you?
I do a Instagram with Chelsea, sprinkled by magic. If you like all the nerdy like scavenger hunts, we just did one today. That was really fun for Hocus Pocus. But yeah, like all the nerdy stuff, that's all us. And then .tipspark on Instagram. I'm not on that one very much, but it does exist if you would like to contact me.
Yeah, and so like Tiffany said, you can find the two of us on Sprinkled by Magic, which is our account for all things nerdy. And we do produce nerdy events as well, like virtual scavenger hunts. And more often than those, we usually do theme park scavenger hunts at like Universal Studios and Disneyland, but it's 2020, so okay. So follow us at, exactly. So follow us at Sprinkled by Magic if you'd like to know when those return. Otherwise, keep in touch with me personally at UncoolRockstar on Twitter and on Instagram. And I check them regularly. I love Twitter. Twitter has my heart. So if you're on Twitter, at UncoolRockstar, let's go. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys. Mary says, thanks guys, this was fun. You're welcome, Mary.
Thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, totally. You were here for a very long time and we really appreciate that. She did ask about Hush at some point, but I had no comments on that.
Hush is a character from Batman, and I thought at the beginning of the Batman trailer that was Hush because of the face mask thing like that, but I think that was a Riddler thing. Yeah, Hush is someone that likes to take people's faces, and there was a thing where he actually was Bruce Wayne for a while. So, but I don't know if they're going to touch upon that. But I do believe they should do Hush in one of these 1 million Batman movies that we have coming out, because he's definitely a interesting villain.
Live action.
You mean one of the Batman movies in the multiverse?
Yes. Indeed.
Right.
Isn't he in one of the animated ones? Isn't he? No.
No, I
thought.
There's so many animated that I still haven't seen. No, but see, now that I have HBO Max, by the way, a small shout out to HBO Max because there's so much DC content on there.
It's
like
fantabulous.
I actually need to go look at more of the DC animated stuff.
You guys, somebody just entered our chat room and his name is Bart Simpson and his comment was "Eat my shorts." We have the actual Bart Simpson in our chat room.
We've made it.
We've made it.
We're there.
I also just wanted to point out that my virtual background today was inspired by DC FanDome because half of the panelists had this background. So I was just like, that was really nice and sleek looking.
It was sleek looking.
Anyway, all right. So on that note, I think we need to say the magic word of the day and say goodnight. So that's going to be our good night. So everybody with the hand motion, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Multiverse.
Multiverse.
Multiverse.